90th birthday. We're all so happy to be in her life, and she loves Livingston. When she came here in '98 to visit me, she was here with me for 6 weeks. Next year she wanted to come back. She was here for 3 months in the summer. Then she wanted to come for 12 years. So here she is today. So these past 12 years has been a joy, an absolute joy. And every one of you here has been a big part of her life, and she loves each one of you like you know she does. With her heart, it's as big as Montana or bigger. So she was born in Van Wert County, Ohio. And I don't know that, I can't get any closer because it's the speakers. Okay. She was born in Van Wert County, Ohio, and she has, she was the oldest of 5 children, and she had one brother that was the youngest. And today, she and her youngest brother are the only 2 living. And he turned 90 in June. So she's had a long, hard life as a young woman. She worked hard. I think that made the character she was and is today, because all she knew how to do is to work hard. And she worked on a farm, she worked in factories, she sold Stanley Home products. When I was a teenager, that's when she sold Stanley Home products, and she cooked for Threshers. We had a big truck farm growing up. My dad thought he had 5 boys, but my dad and mom had 4 girls and 1 boy. But we all worked like we were, all but Judy, she's the baby. She's
probably best.
There's a standing joke in our family that Mother loves Judy best, because Judy tells us that. As I was growing up, I remember Mother asking me to come up and stand behind her, or in front of her. I go like this, and she would grab the newspaper, and she would get the paper out, and she would take some scissors, and she would go around my shoulders and around my waist and down to my hem, and she was making a pattern. So she did a lot of patterns out of newspaper. As we were growing up, she just had the sewing machine. We didn't have any store-bought clothes as we were children. And the funny part of it is I'm thinking that as we went to school, people always liked our clothes. They always liked our lunches. They wanted to eat our lunches. I had a girlfriend that her family was very wealthy. She would have a nice sandwich, nice fruit, nice balanced. Her mother was very particular, and I had my meal, which was probably whatever was left over from supper the night before, and she always asked me if I would let her eat my meal, and she would be happy to give me her meal. And I said, "Oh, you can. It doesn't matter. I just want to eat." So she was very generous with all of our friends. The friends liked to come to our place, and as children, they loved our mother. They thought that we had the best mother. Mother got a card from one of my close classmates, and she says, "You are the only one of our group that we ran around together that has a mother that's living." And she says, and I want you to know that we all thought that you had a very special mother. And that she said we loved her a lot growing up. And we wanted you to know that we wanted to wish her a happy birthday because she just talked to her yesterday and she sent a gift for her. And I'll say a little bit more, but Harley wants to say just a little thing about his grandma.
Hi, I'm Harley. Thanks for coming to my great-grandmother's 100th birthday. She's one of the nicest people I know.
Amen.
She is one of the nicest people we know. I wanted to tell you that I had to write this down because I couldn't remember this. Because we all sat down and figured how many kids we had, and how many grandkids we had, and how many great-grandkids we had, and how many great-great-grandkids we had. So this is what Mother has. I have to put my glasses on. Sorry. Mom had 5 children, 23 grandchildren, 41 great-grandchildren, and 32 great-great-grandchildren. And every one of them loves them as much as her.
Yeah, that's right.
Because she's gotten calls all week and a lot of calls today, and she's very happy to, if they say happy birthday, she says happy birthday back to them. When she moved here in 2000, is when she moved here. She I lived on 11th Street then, and Marilyn Price was my landlord, and Marilyn Price fell in love with her the moment she laid eyes on her. She said, the moment I saw her, I knew that I knew her lifetimes ago. And she said that I felt like she was my mother. And so Marilyn introduced her to her painting. The classes that she took, and Rochella Devine was her painting instructor. So I want to make sure that you all look at the beautiful oil paintings on the back wall in the community room. She, in her life, had done a lot of ceramics. Beautiful. When she moved from Florida to here, I went down to help her move. And I took every piece of ceramic that she had and put them all on every tabletop, every counter space, sometimes chairs. And I had written down everyone's family and everyone's name. And so it was amazing. Down to the last piece, it was every single person in our family got a piece of ceramic that Mom had made. And when they got it, they said, this is what I wanted. Because I just made a prayer to the angels to let me pick out the piece that Mother would like the best for them to remember her with. And she's been, did a lot of crafts with her hands. So she's made some towels you'll see up here. There's one piece of ceramic down here at the end that was, I think, an owl. It's a clock. And she has coloring books. I really want you to look at her coloring books because they are a meditation, each particular one. Maria Scoble, when she was with us, had the Gateway books, and she always called her Mama. She said, how are you, Mama? She says, I love you. And then she would always give her gifts of a coloring book. And the very first one was a kaleidoscope. And I would go to work at 8 o'clock to be to work at Food Works. I'd come home at lunch, and she would take time out from stop coloring, and when I came home at 5, she would still be coloring. So it took her a whole day on some of them, but as you look at those coloring books, you can see that it was a great meditation for her, and I'm sure she was in the retreats, every single picture that she ever colored with colored pencils. And there's a stack. I didn't get to bring them all, but I thought there was enough that you could get the idea of what was in her heart. And the colors. Katrie made a comment one day when she saw them. She said, well, every one of these colors are, you know, the Ascended Masters colors and pastels. She says, I can tell you that girl was in a retreat every time she did those she calls them paintings because they are paintings. And her other friend here, Avery, which is a friend of all of ours in town, he's been a great given her great encouragement to keep painting, oil painting. And so she always loves to go see Avery at his shop, and he always has been beyond kind to her. And she's just, I don't know what to say other than she's done many wonderful crafts, beautiful paintings, beautiful family. So, oh yes, yeah. And, that's another thing my sister reminded me. When we were very young, maybe we were all married. Mother, do you remember when you started making the rag dolls? Do you remember when you started making the rag dolls? Do you remember? I know that your kids were little, Jerry.
Probably already 40 years ago. I was down yet.
No. I think we all, anyway, every one of her grandchildren have dolls. Every one of us has a doll. And we're getting to the great, and they don't have one, but they're still asking. So we'll have to see if she's up to that. So she's made everyone. One time I counted when I lived on 11th Street, she had the bed covered with rag dolls, and but they just had Rag Andy and Annie's face, but they had beautiful clothes on. So she ended up, I think she probably gave a lot of them away.
So,
Yeah, I was going to say everyone. I think I took a couple to the store and somebody bought a couple of them from the store, but they were very happy to have them for their family too. Judy, you want to say something now?
Sure.
This is my youngest sister, Judy. We all know.
The favorite. I love her. I love my sister, Beverly, and my big bro, Jerry. But I just had a wonderful life. I really did. We weren't rich, but we were rich with love. And that's what Mother always gave us, lots of love. Yeah, and my friends were always coming to our house and just having, sleepovers and parties, and the family always seemed to gather at our house, and we loved it, We just had a good time, and Mom was so kind to us all the time. She worked so hard out in the fields and come in and just still take good care of us. And of course, I didn't have to work that much, because when you're the youngest, you don't have to do anything. A little spoiled. But she's been all I can say is she's a wonderful mother. I got lots and lots of good memories, and all my friends do too. So we are blessed.
Thank you. Okay, then Judy's the youngest. I'm the next. I'm the fourth in the family, and then Beverly. And you want to say something? Beverly is next. And she lives in Napoleon, Ohio. Judy lives in Delta, Ohio.
I just want to tell you that all I've heard my whole life is She's the baby sister, and she's Mom's favorite. Now, I call her every night since March. And I say, good night, Mom, I love you. She say, I love you so much, Judy. Just say, I love you, Belle. And then she'll say, I can just hear her doing it. She's probably going, she does. She goes, but one thing I want to say, she has always said, you can do anything you want to. Just set your mind to it. Because I would say, Merlu's the sewer in the family. I probably couldn't sew a straight seam. But I'd say, Mom, I can't do it. She said, you can do it if you set your mind to it. And I love her with all my heart.
Yes.
Okay, this, Rita and Jerry, you could stand up. You don't have to speak if you don't. They're, okay, but this is Rita and Jerry. You come over with her.
She's my mother-in-law, but she's my mom, and she's been the most special lady I've ever known. I cry a lot too, Mom, but I love you.
They're from Lapeer, Michigan. They both worked at General Motors for many, many, many years and retired from General Motors. So he liked, growing up, he liked motorcycles too, which was Harley Davidson and Indian and a few other ones. And let's see, I'm going to read you, I'm going to tell you, you may, some of you may know, but some of you may not know. My children, Colleen, Mike, and Mark. And I'm going to, Michael's the oldest. Can you stand up, Michael? Michael just moved here last November from California on the San Fernando Valley. He's living with me, and he's the one taking care of Mother while I'm at Foodworks. So he's a big part of her daily life, and because she can't walk right now, she can get up and move a little bit, but her legs aren't strong enough to hold her. And Mark has been with me for several years, and he's definitely was here before Michael, and has helped me with Mother too. They both of the boys live with me because one of us are always with Mother. On my day off, I'm with them. It's their day off. But Mark has been working, and he hasn't. Michael's taken over the job that Mark had before he had his job. Sometimes she gets up from, he comes to do something for her in the bedroom, and then she says, well, Jerry, thank you. And he goes, you're welcome. And Colleen Lynn. She's the youngest in my family. And
I always get called Judy.
Lover.
And Colleen works at Foodworks, and she moved here 2 years ago. So we're blessed to have her around, and her significant other, Tom. Colleen's son, Harley, you saw him stand up so everybody can see you again. This is how. And he has a brother, Adam. He's 27, so a lot of people knew Adam before Carly. They're 14 years apart, which is a big challenge, to say the least. But Mark wrote a poem that I wanted to read. He wrote it in February about his grandma. So I'd like to share this with you. Our great, our grand, our great-great-grand, our mother, Opal, surrounded by God and angels above, this beauty has given nothing but love. If there's ever been one that we want to mirror, our grandmother's life has been far superior. Our hearts have been hers from long ago. Our love we will offer her, that we know. Never to worry, with a smile on her face, her life lessons to all have been full of grace. The times we were down, sick and hurt, her love and compassion always came first. For all that she's gave us throughout our lives, she hides her own pain beneath her eyes. To those who believe, I need not explain. Our grandmother's love will always be her fame. So if you ever wander on which way to go, remember the beauty God calls Opal. I read this poem that Mark wrote to you.
Oh.
Raya is going to, she's been helping Mom with her massages and foot zone for a while, as well as Katri, and I can actually tell you that I do not believe that Mother would be here today if it wasn't for foot zone and her massage, because she gets them twice a month. And it's, Katri was her first foot zone. She came immediately. I think probably the first time she was here, she gave her, and we were just marveled at all the benefits that comes with this. What is this called? A foot zone. Katri, what's the word I want to use?
Therapy.
Therapy. Thank you. I went out the door, but anyway, she's good at. With her diet, she's also good with the supplements that she takes. And by God's grace, Dr. Bowling has been probably the only doctor that she's seen in years other than Dr. Lee. She had a little lumpectomy, but that was all taken care of in a few hours. And they just marveled at how well she went through that. They could not believe her age when they gave it to her. So this is a little witness from Mariah. Whatever you want to share.
Well, think of 1912. From that on, this lady has gone through First World War, the Great Depression, the Spanish fever in the middle there, which took maybe 10% of the population of this planet. Then, of course, after Great Depression, all the turmoil before Second World War, and then the war itself. And in the middle of there, she had all these 5 children and the husband. And still all the same anyway. And now, coming here and having then a little time, what a talent she has given to the world the paintings, the colorings I call paintings too, but then the other paintings. And the dolls themselves, they are just art piece, every single one. And then the example for the whole world, for all of us. She's the best example for everything I can think of, even to be a little stubborn sometimes.
A little?
Sometimes. So, can you imagine, in 88 years old, all of a sudden, putting a new career of painting, when no time was earlier? So that gives me still hope. And then changing her diet when she was 90, you say, oh, it's too late for me. It's never too late.
Okay, well, Robert and Linda, thank you very much. Robert and Linda have been a part of my family for a long time. Robert and I worked together for 32 years. So when I'm still his employee. But he's like a dear brother to me. I love him and Linda like they're family, and Mom just thinks of them as family.
We're going to sing to you.
Okay. Boy, he always says, I love you so much, and I say, no, I love you more. No, I love you more.
We're going to sing you a song. There's two songs together that we put together. And the first song was written by somebody who was as old as you are now, Irving Berlin. He lived to 100 also, even older than 100. And he wrote all kinds of songs like God Bless America, wonderful songs. This is a song that he wrote when you were a young girl. Okay? And you'll recognize it when we first sing it. Okay, that's the first song. And then there's a second song that Linda's going to sing. Yes,
it's an opera aria. It's O mio babbino caro, which means, oh my beloved daddy, but we thought this is such a beloved song that we have to dedicate it to you, oh my beloved Opal.
Okay. The orchestra here. I'll be loving you always with a love that's true, always.
very, very much. It was unexpected. We're through with the presentation of Opal's life. It was a lot longer than that, but just listen. But I'd like everyone to take their time to go into the community room, have some food, some cake, and we're gonna put Mother back in the chair here, and you can come and speak with her as you would like. So thank you all for coming to this wonderful celebration, which we've been celebrating for at least 2 weeks.
Let's hear it for Mary Lou and her wonderful dedicated care of her mother.
Oh, yeah.